Hi guys. Today we are going to be talking about mentoring text and adding quotes into our writing. So let's get started. All right. Okay, so we're first going to look at a mentor text, and we're looking at this mentor text so we can look at really good practices. So there are a few things I want you to look at in this article. So I want you to look at the introduction, the domain specific vocabulary, the subheadings, the variety of writing styles, and the ending. So I'm going to exit the screen so we can check it out. Okay, so here is this I guess is more of like an essay format, but it's about English bulldogs. So let's start off here. They actually have an introduction. So I want to show you how they introduced it. They did introduce using the word I. So they wrote, I curl up on my sofa, getting ready to read my favorite book. My best friend Lainey jumps on the sofa next to me. She snuggles in, curls herself up, and starts to snore. It's very loud. This might sound very rude, but Lainey isn't a person. She's a 6-year-old English bulldog. She has a tired, wrinkled face that looks as if she's 100 years old. She shuffles around and makes a lot of grunting noises. Sometimes she refuses to budge when we're out walking, but she is loyal, kind, and never lets me down. Her breed is one that is very special and is a very popular pet with an interesting history. In this report, you will learn all about the appearance of bulldogs, how to care for them, what they are like as pets, and a bit about their history. So, what she did is she kind of started off as a story and she hooked you and she gave you basically a lot of description about the dog, kind of what the dog looks like, what the dog does. So she went into description and explanation in her introduction, and then she let you know how the rest of her passage was going to unfold, essentially. Okay. She told you what you were going to find in each of the chapters. So I thought that was very cool. She also did subheadings. So she did an intro, she did appearance, caring for a bulldog, health concerns, history of English bulldogs, and a conclusion. Now, I want you to think of this. She also, here is a chart, and it's a chart of characteristics of bulldogs. So instead of saying in paragraph form, bulldogs have short legs, so the bulldogs have short legs, large noses, or large jaws, and all these different details, she put it in a chart form. It does make it a bit more interesting to look at, okay, and to read. So she also, it says here, the writer used outside sources to give credit and gives credit to both of these sources. So they said where they got their information from, which is also very important. And then the author also used a lot of domain specific vocabulary. So those are our bold words. There's a lot of bold words that tend to go with this animal in specific, okay? It says the writer used comparisons, analogies, and images to make the writing interesting, okay? So I'm going to read you the health concern section, and it says that the writing is very focused and there's a variety of information. So no dog owner wants to think about their dog getting sick, but unfortunately, it can happen. Bulldogs don't live forever, only about 8 to 12 years. So owners should keep their dogs as healthy as possible to help them live as long as they can. According to the Orthopedic Foundation of Animals, 73.9% of bulldogs have hip dysplasia. Dysplasia, yeah. They have problems where the hip gets out of joint. To add on, more bulldogs have this problem than any other breed. Another common illness is cherry eye. This is caused by the swollen gland in the bulldog's eye. If this happens, most vets say take the dog to be looked at right away. Once Lainey had cherry eye and her eye swelled up like a balloon. We all felt awful for her, but when she got medicine, she was much better. Now, listen, you're not going to put like about something really pertaining to your own life the way this person did. But I do like that this person did make comparisons, okay? So there's this example. Oh, and ending. I'm sorry. I don't want to forget it. So under ending, they kind of recapped what we talked about and like They also gave you something to consider. So at the end, they talk all about bulldogs, right? But at the end, it says maybe one day you'll have a best friend like Lainey, curled up at your feet and snoring while you read a great book. So trying to kind of get you to the idea of like, hey, maybe I want you to think that maybe this is something you might want in your life. So that's also a really good thing that these authors do, is they put something at the end that's going to get you thinking, okay? Last but not least, we are going to add in quotations, how and when to add quotes. So how to add quotes. You can do things like, according to an article called Community Heroes, Clay says that there were 50 grants totaling 180,000. You can also add a quote by saying, for example, the text said, many girls are denied an education because of lack of funds. So you're putting what was said in quotations, but then you're adding like according to the text or according to the article, and you're stating what the title of that article is. Or you would say, many girls are denied an education because of lack of funds. You do, for example, and then the quote afterwards. And I wanted to also show you, so there's a few things I'm going to point out to you here, okay? So here is an example of how they added a quote that pertains specifically to the text. You're not just adding in these random quotes. They have to be very specific to what you're talking about. So another organization, Bridge to Asia, makes a big difference in helping students get medical books in China. Now, what did they do? They added a quote that talked about getting these books in China, okay? So in quotations, in China, the price of one medical book can equal the monthly salary of a doctor. To make books more available to students, Bridge to Asia collects books and donates them to over 1,000 Asian universities. And then they close the quotes. But look what they did on the bottom, right here, guys. They put in parentheses Lewis 2008. What that basically is the author, Lewis, and this was published in 2008. So it's the author and the publishing year of the article. Author, publishing year. That's your source. That's also super important. So you're putting the quotes, author, publishing year, okay? Here's just like some examples of kids that have also written books on like big important topics. So this one's on child labor, and look at how these kids did it by pen and paper. You guys are doing it on a computer, totally fine, but they laid out all their chapters, and then if you kind of look at how they did it, like this is his bold word, these are like his bold words, child labor and poverty, and they put them in parentheses afterwards, which was pretty cool. They added a picture with a caption, right? They also, I like that this kid gave like examples here, and then this kid also did charts, okay, which I thought was very cool. This person also added in the industries that have child labor. So they added in this pie chart to show you like where it's actually happening. And then child labor locations like around the world where it's happening. And this was one on, what was this one? I want to say it was plastic pollution, but I could totally be wrong. So hold on. Okay, so the environment. And similar, right? They gave you like the page numbers that it's going to spread across, which you can also do. And what I like is that both of these people did put a glossary, okay, according to the Union of Concerned Scientists, and then they put the quotation, okay? So they didn't only put the quote, they put where they got it from, according to the Union of Concerned Scientists. So they gave you the title of the article, okay? Super, super important. They added in pictures, which we're going to do all this with the computer. Again, they did vocabulary and they put the definition, like domain specific vocabulary, within parentheses. Totally fine, totally awesome. Last but not least, this person also did a pretty cool, oh, look, they did like a fact box where they gave you like an interesting fact, which is what I was telling you guys about. And they did a fact box on a lot of the pages, actually. And then they also did a glossary, which is a great idea for you guys to do at the end. I know feel like I'm scrolling forever, and they called it the environment glossary so they made it a little more specific to their text, okay? I know this was a lot of information, but a lot of these things are like reminders of things that I've shown you, and then we're adding in a little bit more about the quotes. So I want you to think about what's really important and what quotes can go into your writing. So I want you guys to go back into your notes, and if you have a quote there or you have some information, look back and see what article or what video you found it from. Make sure you have the exact wording and then add that quote with the source into your writing. And it's going to make it that much better, because when you're putting quotes in there, it validates the information that you have. Okay. So if you have any questions, let us know. But today's assignment is just to go back into your work and add in some quotes and add in those solid bricks of information that we've been talking about. You can use this mentor text, and I'll actually link these two, the environment one and the child labor one, so you can see the good practices. Okay, talk to you soon.